Welcome to Conducting Parkinson's Conversations. The goal of this podcast is not only to share my story, but also the stories of other musicians on the Parkinson's journey. I hope you'll hit that subscribe button. Today, my conversation is with Denise Bacon. In late 2025, Denise, a retired speech therapist and clarinetist from East Sussex, made international headlines when she underwent deep brain stimulation surgery at King's College Hospital in London. To ensure the DBS electrodes were being placed correctly to restore her motor skills, Denise played her clarinet while awake on the operating table. When I encountered this story, I knew I had to speak with Denise, and I'm looking forward to hearing more about her experience and how she's been doing since. When I encountered the article about your story, I just knew I had to meet you.
Okay,
You're a retired speech therapist
that's correct. Yep. Speak.
and a clarinetist, obviously, as well.
Yeah.
And did you study clarinet? What's your musical background?
Yeah, I'm no virtuoso, but I do enjoy it. I learnt at school and didn't play for quite a few years, and then someone persuaded me to join a local band, and I was in the band for, gosh, 30 years or something like that, until I couldn't play anymore. But so I loved it. Um, it's the social things that go with it, but also just playing music with other people.
What is the band
It's
that
the
you
East
play in?
Sussex Concert Band. They're very good. Um,
Wonderful.
yeah.
And you've played with them for, you said 30 years.
Well, let me see. 1983, although I had 10 years out.
Right.
So 82. Yeah, 90 years. Yeah, a long time.
When you first started feeling some symptoms, did it impact your clarinet playing first?
Yes, actually, I was on a course. Don't know if you've heard of a place called Benslow, but they run courses, orchestras, and people get together and play. And I just couldn't play. I couldn't jump from a B to a top, to an A. Just all my fingers off, and that was weird. And my posture was really much more slouchy all of a sudden. Um, and then um, after I was diagnosed, it was better, I guess, because I was on the medication, and I managed to keep going for about 6 years, but getting harder and harder to compensate, really. And in lockdown, I was trying to play along to CDs and things, and just couldn't get the volume, couldn't get the fingering over difficult bits.
Mm.
So yeah,
Was it impacting other aspects of your life or just clarinet playing at first?
other aspects, but I think I was in denial as well. My writing was badly affected, and I just, I must stop writing so quickly. um, my walking was not right at all. My daughter, I remember walking along with my daughter, and she'd say, "Mum, pick your feet up," and I didn't know I wasn't. um, and I couldn't keep up with the children, well, they weren't children; they were teenagers by then. So I just thought, "Oh, their legs are longer than mine." Um, so it took me about a year to face it.
What was your
Um,
process for diagnosis?
well, as you know, in this country, we have the NHS, but we also have a private sector. And it was 6 months wait to be seen on the NHS. And I knew what I had. I mean, I'd worked with people with Parkinson's a little bit, although I worked mainly with children. But I knew what I had. And I just couldn't wait 6 months for the official diagnosis. So I went to see a consultant privately. And
Mhm.
yeah, and he was very good actually, because he just said to me, what do you think the problem is? And I said, I think I've got Parkinson's. And he said, yes, I agree with you. And then he said so many positive things about Parkinson's and famous people with Parkinson's, that they treat my symptoms. And I actually expected to be really depressed, and I came out walking on air. So,
Just
so
just to know what was happening.
yeah, and just to think, he said, "We haven't got a cure for Parkinson's, but there's hope, and there's always hope," and things like that, which just put me in a more positive frame of mind, I guess.
What year was that, that you got your diagnosis?
Yeah, that was 2014.
Okay.
So
And your
54.
DBS surgery was 2025.
Yes, that's right.
So nine years with more
Yeah.
conventional treatment. So what was that path like?
Well, to start with, I saw an NHS consultant who, to be honest, was just the opposite of the private one. Said a lot of negative things, didn't seem to help very much at all. The consultant I saw privately put me on pramipexole or mirapexin, which is a dopamine agonist, which at the time the NHS weren't really prescribing. But I stayed on that right the way through, as well as introducing levodopa. But anyway, thankfully that consultant left, and to cut a long story short, I got to see Dr. Saha, because I was just hearing from other consultants and people, "Oh, Dr. Saha, he knows his stuff. He's the best." And so I managed to get on his list on the NHS, and he suggested that DBS might be for me, because I don't have any other health problems. Yeah, and I remember him saying, "Well, you're gonna live a long time, you know? You want the quality of life to be as good as it can be." Um, but I didn't want to rush into things. And, for the first stage of Parkinson's, you don't feel too bad. And the second stage, people said, or rather the consultant said, "You're in the second stage." And I'm like, "Oh, well, if this is the second stage, it's not too bad." Um, but Um, I'm so glad I decided to go ahead when I did, because by the time I had the operation, it was really difficult to move, just trying to adjust my position on a chair, or I certainly couldn't move around in bed. I had to just sit on the edge of the bed and fall, and that's where I lie. So it was getting to the point where I needed something, um, and touch wood. It's amazing, made an amazing difference.
Did you have a tremor at first, or when did a tremor come in?
No, I haven't had a tremor. I mean, a slight feeling of tremor here, but nothing that anyone could see. No, I've just been really stiff and got less and less able to move, but no tremor.
I have no tremor either, and I've talked with several people that have not had tremor at first, and then the tremor came later. So
Oh,
I'm in this. I have felt over the last year that I'm sort of in a waiting game, but
oh,
I don't have a tremor. I have bradykinesia quite
yeah,
severe.
yeah.
Like I
Awesome.
can move this. I my hand doesn't really move.
No,
Um,
no. It's a lot
um,
better than it was. Yeah.
wow.
Mm.
So is the Parkinson on your right side?
Uh, I think it's worse. They asked me that during the operation, and I couldn't remember. I think it started more on the left side. It's worse on the left side now.
But look at you, though. So it got so bad that you couldn't play clarinet at all.
Yes, that's right. I've tried now, uh, and it kind of goes in phases of different symptoms. But until today, I thought I'd better stop because I was feeling air escaping into my nose and hearing it and then losing pressure.
Oh,
But
okay.
as they increased the dosage of the um, stimulation, so the symptoms change a little. And I think, well, I didn't get that today when I tried to play, but my fingers were too slow. So
Okay.
we'll see. We'll see. It takes a year to fully program, and I'm now going back. So to start with, you go back to the hospital once a month, and then once every 6 weeks, and now it's once every 3 months. Um, and it's a specialist nurse who does the program. It's amazing. They sit the other side of the room and they can see your brain waves. You can see when I've charged it. Um, and he says, "Are you feeling okay?" I say, "Yes." He says, "Oh, good. I've just given you a couple more volts," or whatever.
And
So
it's all automated. There's nothing for you to manipulate, or how does that work?
not really. I mean, I have a handset, which is basically a mobile phone that's programmed
Mhm.
to work with the device. Um, and he leaves a little bit of leeway so that I could put the stimulation up. But he says, "Don't put it up unless you really, really can't go on." So I haven't fiddled with it.
How long a wait was it from the point that you made the decision to take a surgery till your place in line came up and you were ready to do it?
Um, it was about 18 months, but it wasn't all waiting. So they do various things like cognitive testing. a psychiatric interview, a thing called the levodopa challenge, where they take you off all your meds and they get you to do the usual things, and then you take a high dose of levodopa and see what happens. And if you don't respond to that, then you're not a good candidate for DBS because it's apparently has a similar effect. The levodopa challenge was the thing that I was most frightened of, but it wasn't anything like as bad. 'Cause I just didn't know what I'd be like coming off all my meds, but it
Wow.
wasn't too bad.
So you waited 18 months and you did all these tests and they said you're good to go. Now,
Yeah. Sorry, it took a
I
year. Sorry, I didn't explain that very well. It took a year to have all the tests, just for
okay.
the it's not that many, but just for the appointments to come through. And then in the January, I met the surgeon for the first time, and he ran through the risks, which are, I think that my decision was that the risks were very, very small, although they're very, very low percentage, although they're horrible things like a stroke, and speech problems. But the alternative I know would have been worse. So although people say, "Oh, you're so brave," I think, well, I got to the point where it was a no-brainer. It was the obvious decision to make to me. Um, so I met him in the January, and then the operation came up in July, 6 months later.
How did this famous decision to have you play clarinet in the operating
Yeah.
room? I mean, okay. How did this?
It was
There's a
really
story there. Tell us.
when I met the surgeon, I had a list of questions, and the very last question, which I almost didn't ask, was, "Do you think my clarinet playing will improve?" And before he could really answer, one of his registrars, I guess, or what member of his team, said, "Bring it with you, bring it with you." And that was all that was said. And then I phoned up a couple of weeks before the operation when I had the date and said, "Look, do you really want me to bring my clarinet?" And the message came back from the surgeon, yes, it's yes, because he would be able to tell if he could help me. And so I took it. And so I took my old one, my little plastic one, because I didn't trust it in theatre.
That's great.
And, um, and yeah, I put it together for them and they handed it to me during the operation. I thought, well, I'll just see if I can blow. I was lying down, for goodness sake. Didn't think I
Well,
could
I've seen the picture.
do it.
So
So,
you put it together before the surgery. So it was
mm,
okay.
mhm.
And I mean, this is a nerdy question, but you put the reed on and everything, so there it was
Yeah. Yeah, I was a
all
bit
ready to
worried
go.
about the read, but and one time I was sure when they gave it to me, the reed was crooked, but I still seemed to be able to get a note out of it.
Okay, anybody who's watching this has got the next question. Okay, well, what did you play? Okay,
I
so here you're on the operating table. They hand you the
don't know if
clarinet.
I scale.
What did you play?
I think I did an E major scale because that goes from the bottom note to quite high up. Not E, because I didn't know, must have been F. Must have been F major because I can't play that one all the way up. That was all I did and kind of messed around a bit in the upper register and the lower register just for them to see if it made any difference.
And could you tell? There was a difference, well, at that moment or
Yeah, actually, when they changed the stimulation, so when they switched it on the left side of the brain, which is the right side of the body, my fingers were just moving so much more fluently and, yeah, it was much better on that side. It wasn't so obvious on the other side. But that's when you as you know, when you play the clarinet, you can't play it with one hand. So if the right hand was better, um but you still need, it doesn't work like that. It's not like a piano that you could play the top half and the low half separately. Um, but yeah, certainly the stimulation definitely made a difference.
you had not played clarinet for a long time?
About 5 years, I think, since I stopped.
Gosh.
Yeah. There've been, I hear about dance groups and things, which looks like music and movement. And when I was first diagnosed, I just thought, I'm not doing that. It didn't look that, it looked too easy. Um,
Yeah.
I'd tried to do a lot of exercise. I was always a keen swimmer, um, and walking. Um, and you get to a point, well, I did with Parkinson's, where you just can't. you know. Everybody says lots of exercise, and yeah, I've done lots of exercise, but I've got to the point where I just can't do it anymore. Um, and so swimming, I can now swim 20 lengths of a 15-meter pool, which is amazing because before the op, I could do one stroke and that was all. Um, but obviously, years ago, I was doing 40 lengths of a full-size pool. But it's great. It's great that I can do something.
And all of this, just after the surgery, and the effect was immediate after the surgery. Yeah?
Yeah, I didn't go swimming immediately because they told me to be careful because some people say they can't swim with DBS and it can switch off, but I don't seem to have that problem. Um,
Have you gone back and played with the band a bit now since the surgery?
no, I haven't. I might. I mean, I was just thinking that I'm not good enough, and also I can drive now. I haven't been able to drive, and I'm just waiting. Have to have a letter from the DVLA, the Department of Vehicle Licensing.
My last question is to ask, if you were to encounter somebody, what would you share with them?
Um, I guess just be positive, take it a day at a time. And it's not easy at first, to do that. And if you are considered a good candidate for surgery, don't hesitate because it's amazing. Give yourself that chance.
To meet someone like you, that music was not your profession, was not, but was your love, something so important to you. I think that that really resonates with a lot of people because I think
Mm,
music is really important to a lot of people,
mm,
um, whether they are professional musicians or not. That isn't important. Music is for
mm,
everybody,
mm.
and making
Yeah.
music is for everybody.
That's the nice thing about music. You can do it to your own standard, really. I mean, can't you, to a point? um,
Absolutely. You really inspire me, and I know you're inspiring a
mm,
lot of people.
I hope so. I mean, I think you're right. Parkinson's it seems to take away everything you love. Not everything, but everything you love doing one at a time. And it's great to start getting some of that back. Mm,
For sure. Well, thank you so much, Denise. It's really wonderful to meet you.
pleasure, pleasure.